Hey YouTube, it's late and I thought I made a quick video, a late night video on the remains of the giants from Noah's flood, the Nephilim, the offspring of the fallen watchers, and just to give more validity to the Word of God and the things I've been posting up on my channel. I wanted to take a look at some of the skeleton remains from these freaks that once inhabited this earth and now roam about in spirit form, seeking a vessel that they could inhabit so they could wreak havoc on people's lives. So we're going to take a look at some of these pictures here. Here's one. And you can see the size of this Nephilim skull. It's pretty huge compared to this man. Here's a chart. Here's a chart of the sizes of these giants, and they range from 6 feet up to 36 feet. Some were even higher than that. As mentioned in some of the pseudepigraphal books, some of them went up to even 60 feet. As this skeleton here. Look at the size of that thing. Huge. Just the size of his head is the size of that man unearthing this thing. It's ridiculous. This is what they were up against. The people in the days of Noah and even before that. The time of Jared, the times of Enoch, and when the days of Noah came, that's when they were destroyed by the flood. They were drowned. Some of them were destroyed by the 4 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. I read in the apocryphal book of Enoch, how Gabriel came down and gave these Nephilim swords and roused them up and pitted them against one another, and they were destroying themselves. I read that Michael, the archangel, he came down and bound their leader, Semyasa, the leader of the fallen angels that fell during the times of Jared. He had a battle with him, put him in bonds, chains, and he destroyed some of these freaks by, I'm not sure if it was hail. He caused huge hailstones or fireballs, what we call meteorites, to land on these freaks, smashing their skulls and killing them, because the earthlings had such a tough time getting rid of these beings. So God sent down his angel warriors to get rid of this filth. And as for Raphael, he was instructed to bind Azazel. Some say that the name Azazel is just another name for Satan. Could be. Or it could be another watcher. I'm not sure. Here's another skull from these freaks. They call this type the cone head. These were the cone heads. They had large craniums. Pretty freaky looking. Let's see, what else do they have here? hieroglyphic paintings. Here's some more giant skulls. See, so they are being found all over the world, you know, throughout the last few centuries. And of course, you're not going to hear about this mainstream. And if you do hear about it, they'll try to downplay it or, you know, present it to you in a sort of passive way where you could dismiss it or not make too much of it. But if you go back and watch my video series I made regarding the fallen angels, the giants, and what went on the days of Noah, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Look at this picture here. This is a giant with a third eye on his head, like a cyclops. Like I said, they were freaks. They were cannibals as well. Here's another one. Nephilim. It's a word for giant in the Hebrew. And here's another picture of a Shemite warrior, or what we know as Native American, trying to fight these monsters. Look at the size of them. Some of them had long hair and were very muscular. Like they were on steroids or something. So as you can see, there's evidence all throughout the world. You just won't hear about it because, of course, they don't want you knowing this. Because a lot of these celebrities and big corporations come from these blood lineages of these freaks and reprobate angels that couldn't keep their first estate. And these are their children that were put to the sword, and now they're fallen spirits roam about the earth seeking any sinful sinner that they could inhabit so they can ruin his life. Just go back and watch my video on the origins of fallen spirits and you'll know what I'm talking about. These are the size of their weaponry. Look at the size of those axes or hatchets. Look at the size of that woman. She's pretty tall, and these things are pretty huge. This is what they used to fight with the Nephilim. Excuse me. Here's some more cone heads in a museum. This is an interesting one. Just waiting for it to clear up. There it is. Look at the size of this one. Easily well over 50 feet. Look at that. About 50 to 60 feet. This one's huge. And look what he has there to his right. He's holding something. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, on his right hand is a gun. So that lets you know that even in the days of Noah, which was about close to 6,000 years ago, probably a little more, a little less, give or take, they had weaponry. But of course, they're not going to teach you this in the history books. So they very much had a lot of technology back in the day. Look at the size of that gun. It would take a lot of men to just shoot that thing. Look at that. And look at the size of that bulldozer on top of that giant skull right there. That bulldozer is almost the size of this Nephilim skeleton. And I saw a picture, this same picture here that I'm showing you guys, and they had tried to blur out the gun because they tried to cover up the fact that they had even that type of weaponry back in the day. So we wanted to hide a lot of things, make it seem like the technology we have now didn't exist back in the days, but yep, it existed. As you can see, they have all kinds of skeletons. Freaky pictures. And it gives us a lot of detail about these giants in the book of Enoch, as well as their fathers, the fallen angels. And I was just reading an excerpt on, I'm not sure where I found it, but it was giving a lot of great detail to the characteristics of these freaks and their parents, the fallen ones. And as I was reading it, it just got me very angry. I was boiling mad, just because I could feel what the earthlings were going through back in those days. And just the helplessness that they had to endure. A lot of them went to war with these only to end up getting killed in vain. It wasn't until God decided to send forth his angel army so he could get rid of these freaks. So it was a pretty intense read, and I had a hard time reading it without getting mad, but hey. So I just thought I'd make a quick late night video showing you guys some of the interesting historical findings that you're not gonna hear about being preached in a lot of churches or being shown in any of your history books, for that matter. For obvious reasons, they don't want you guys to know that these freaks once roamed about in the earth. So on that note, I'll end this video and I'll see you guys in my next one. Peace.